Welcome to Cohort 2 of Data Analysis Scholarship course. Welcome once again. Tonight we will be looking at 100 exact keyboard shortcuts every data analyst must know. We are going to be looking at 100 exact keyboard shortcuts every data analyst, every Excel user must know in order to work fast, in order to be productive, in order to be much more efficient. One thing as a data analyst is to be effective, another is to be efficient. The ability to do your work, to analyze your data at a very fast rate, using minimum possible time to be able to analyze your data. So tonight we will be looking at 100 exact keyboard shortcuts that you must know, you must master, you should be able to master in order to scale, in order to excel effectively as a data analyst. So once again, welcome to Cohort 2 of Data Analysis Scholarship course. In today's live session, we are diving deep into 100 powerful exact keyboard shortcuts that you must know as a data analyst. Whether you're a beginner or a professional expert, these shortcuts are very, very much handy. Tonight we will be looking at the navigation shortcut, we will be looking at the data entry shortcuts, selections, formatting, formulas, and the likes. Shortcuts that will enhance your ability to be able to call yourself an effective and efficient Excel user and a data analyst. Once again, you are welcome. My name is Franklin, Mr. Franklin. I'm your facilitator for tonight. Jibril, we haven't started asking for scholarship ID. Tonight, I'm having both Cohort 1 and Cohort 2 on this live section. The reason is this: in Cohort 1, we didn't cover this aspect. So Cohort 2, you know that we are going extra mile to ensure that we keep on giving excellent service, keep on giving quality service. All right. Once again, welcome. Let me know, everyone, if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Drop in the comment, drop in the chat, live chat, drop in the live chat if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. And if you are joining us for the first time, this is Data Analysis Scholarship course. This is Data Analysis Scholarship course for Cohort 2. Data Analysis Scholarship course for Cohort 2, brought to you by Soluma Institute of Tech and Management. And I'm your facilitator for tonight's section, Mr. Franklin, a seasoned data analyst and a management consultant. I have diverse portfolios in tech and management. I welcome us once again. Please let's drop in the comment. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. Share drag after your screen is clear and we are good to go. Beautiful. Thank you for that feedback. All right, as it is our tradition on this live section, let's head over to the scholarship group. If you are in Cohort 1, go over to Cohort 1. If you are in Cohort 2, go over to the Cohort 2 scholarship WhatsApp group. Let them know we are live. Just go to the scholarship group, type we are live. We are live, start joining. Just type in the scholarship group, we are live, everybody. We are live, everybody. Go to the scholarship group, type there, we are live, everybody. And also, if you are with us on this live call, try to hit the like button. We will appreciate that. Hit the like button for this live session. And also, we will recommend that you share it to someone or to some people that we need what we are about to dish out tonight. We are about to dish out some powerful stuffs. I know that most of us, after tonight, increase your efficiency in using Excel will skyrocket. Why? Because you are going to be learning some keyboard shortcuts, some tricks as regards to working with Excel as a data analyst, whether you're a financial analyst, business analyst, as a HR, as a researcher, health scientist, whatsoever you are. Tonight we are going to be dishing out these shortcuts so that we can master what we have. All right, I've done that. Please drop in the comments. Done. If you have done that, if you have gone to the scholarship group you belong to and you have tagged everyone you have dropped, we are live, join everyone, drop in the comment. Done. Drop in the comment. Done. If you have gone to the scholarship group, tonight I'm having both cohort 1 and cohort 2 on this live session. Why is simple, like I said earlier, we didn't handle this aspect in cohort 1. 100 Excel shortcuts, keyboard shortcut, we didn't handle it. I wanted to handle that, but I think it skipped my mind. I think in one of the rotation I told them that we would talk about this keyboard shortcut, but it skipped my mind. So we are combining both cohort 1 and cohort 2 on this live session. So please, if you have done that, I'm waiting, drop in the comment. Done. I don't want to waste much time. We are going to deal with 100 shortcuts, so we need as much time as we can. If you have tagged people in the scholarship group, type done. Please, I want everyone on this live call, I want everyone on this live session to go over to the scholarship group and do that, and at the same time hit the like button. If you have done that, drop in the chat. Done. Drop in the live chat. Done. Go to the scholarship group, tag everybody, tell them we are live. Just as many as we are, drop it there. Go to that place, go to the scholarship group. As many as we are, drop there. We are live, we are live, we are live, we are live. Start joining. We are live, we are live. Start joining. Let's do that. All right, Adebola, going to thank you for that. Adebola, thank you for that. I need more response so that we kickstart what we have for tonight. We kickstart what we have for tonight. I need more response. I need more response. I need more response. We are about to learn certain stuff for tonight. All right, Shedrack Ata, done. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, let's quickly move straight to Excel lesson. Okay, thank you. If I extend it, thank you. All right, before we head over to Excel, as you are watching us tonight, drop your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Much appreciated. If you are part of the scholarship, drop your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Much appreciated. That is our first attendance for tonight. That is our first attendance for tonight. Let's go ahead and do that. That's our first attendance for tonight. If you have done that, just let me know. Okay. All right, beautiful. Let's quickly delve into what we have. Let's see what you can see right there. Let me know what you can see on your screen. If you can see my screen, let me know what you can see right there on your screen. Let me know what you can see so that I'll know we're on the same page. I think I have a bit of network glitch earlier, so that's why. Let me know what you can see right there on your screen. If you are with me, just drop in the chat what can you see so that I know we are on the same page. Beautiful, beautiful. From a split screen, beautiful, beautiful. Two spreadsheets, yes. Now, why do I have two spreadsheets? One spreadsheet is where I put the keywords, the keyboard, the shortcuts, and on this is where I'm going to be using to demonstrate some of what we have here. Here are the keyboard shortcuts, and here is a data set I'm going to be using in order to demonstrate these keyboard shortcuts. Here I have 100 keyboard shortcuts that are very, very necessary, that are very, very essential in working with Microsoft Excel. So that is what we are going. Let's start. Starting is what we call basic navigation keyboard shortcuts. We are starting with what we call basic navigation keyboard shortcuts. The first is the arrow keys. Now, what are the arrow keys? The arrow keys are the up arrow, down arrow, forward arrow, and backward arrow. That's what we refer to the arrow keys on your keyboard. Once you are using your keyboard, we refer to it as arrow keys. So what is the arrow key used for? It's used to move in, is used for movement, one-time movement in Microsoft Excel. One-time movement is used for one-time movement in Microsoft Excel. For example, if I want to move forward, I press the forward arrow, that moves. If I want to move up, I press the up arrow, that moves. If I want to move down, I press the down arrow, back arrow, and up arrow, forward arrow, down arrow, back arrow. That's what the arrow keys are used for. So you can use it to move, to navigate, or to move in your spreadsheet. That's the arrow key. Now the next is control arrow key. Control arrow key is used to move to the edge of the data region. To the edge of the data region. What do we mean by data region? If you want to get to the end of this data set, forward end, you press control forward. It takes you to the end. This is the end. If we move forward, you see that this is where it ends. If you want to get to the beginning of this data range, you press control back. It takes you to the beginning, which is the product ID. Then if you want to get to the top, that's the first of this, you press control up. It takes you to the column that has product ID written on it. If you want to get to the last row of this data range, you press control down. It takes you down to the last row, as you can see. When you look at the arrow, the row name here, the row name here says 5,637 rows. So that shows you that we are on the last row for this data range, for this particular data range. As you can see, if I could move that. And what you have here is, if you are with us in the Excel beginner class, you will know what I did here is to use the freeze panes, to freeze from 7 upward. All right, control up is to get back to where we are. All right, so that is the number 2 shortcut. Control arrow keys is to move to the edge of the data region. All right, home is go to the beginning of the road. Now if I'm here and I press home only, it goes to the beginning of the row. You see that the beginning of the row is here. So if I'm here, I press home only, it also takes me to the beginning of the row. That's what home is. Now that is just pressing home only. That's what we have. Then the next, which moving to the next shortcut, is control home. If I press control home, that will take us to A1. That's the first cell in Microsoft Excel, A1. So if I press control home, it takes us to A1. But why this is not going? Because of freeze. because I freeze this, let me unfreeze it. If I come here and unfreeze, now I have unfreezed it. If I press Ctrl Home, you see now it takes me straight to A1 from the name cell, name box or cell address. You can see that's the name. So anywhere you are in the spreadsheet, in Excel spreadsheet, anywhere you are in Excel spreadsheet and you press Ctrl Home, it takes you to cell A1. Anywhere you are in Excel spreadsheet and you press Home, it takes you to the beginning of that row. Now we are in row 15 and you press Home, it will take you to the beginning of that row. Alright, now the next is Ctrl End. It will take you to the last cell data. What do we mean by last cell data? I need to explain it. Now if I have stuff here and 5 here, 1 here, 8 for example, and I'm here, I press Ctrl End. These are Ctrl End. You see it moves to the last. Whether I'm anywhere or so, it takes us to the last. From this data set, we did something. If we move up on this data set, I manipulated it, it takes us to the last. Now let me show you what I mean here. If I come here and generate a value, for example, because that data set I have worked on it, and for example, if I have this, let me highlight the two. I want to generate numbers and then drag down. So this is what I have. If I drag it forward, I have stuff like this. Let's say, for example, I have this data set, and here I press Ctrl End. You see, it takes me to the last data cell. It takes me to go to the last cell with data, to the last data cell. Ctrl End. Once this is a range of data, once this is the range of data, anywhere you are, it will take you to the last cell when you press Ctrl End. When you press Ctrl End, it takes you to the last data cell. This is the last. So we have covered the Ctrl End. All right, we have covered that. The other one is page up, page down. In your keyboard, there is what we call page up, page down. In your keyboard, you can see that on your keyboard, system keyboard. You have the page up, page down. The page down, it moves one screen down to remove the other one. It moves one screen away. Page up, it moves one screen up. So it's what we call page up, page down. Move one screen up or down depending on your movement. If I press page up, page down rather, it moves. If I press another page down, it moves on one screen up, downward. If I keep on pressing it, it will keep on moving one screen downward. If I press upward, it keep on moving one screen upward till we get to the up stage. All right, beautiful. Okay, the next is Alt. When you hold the Alt key, it moves one screen left. For example, if I hold Alt key and move down, it moves one screen left. Alt key up, it moves one screen backward or right, depending how you want to pronounce it. Up, you Alt page up, it moves one screen forward or one screen backward. All right, Control Backspace. I use this a lot. I use this particular stuff a lot. For example, if I'm here, if, for example, I want to calculate the total revenue, for example, I want to calculate the total revenue by using this formula, and I come here to press Ctrl Shift down arrow. Now look at this. I have highlighted the entire range. We are still going to get to this shortcut I did now, but I want to use it to show us something. I have highlighted the entire data range. Where are we? We are 5,637. I'm no longer seeing my formula. And if you are like me, I like seeing my formula right there on the cell, not on the formula bar. That's me. You can have your, that's me. This also your formula, you can see your formula in the formula bar. But me, I like seeing that. So what do you do to get back to the active cell? That's what it says, show active cell if screen off. The next one we have here is, F5. Go to any cell. That's to open a dialog. So if I press F5, it opens a dialog. Now this dialog box is this. If I want to go to any cell, what I just need is to reference that cell, to type the number of the cell here. For example, let's say I want to move to cell, let's say I want to move to a particular cell. Let's say I receive a data set, and on the data instruction, it says cell, this has so value, cell this has so value, and I want to see that cell. And that particular data set is a large data set. I can press F5 and come here, type in that cell. Let's say that cell is in AA1212, for example. AA1212, for example. If I say OK, now what will happen? It takes me immediately to cell AA1212. As you can see, it takes me immediately to that cell. So that's what F5 helps us to do. When you are working with a large data set and there are specific data information in a particular cell you need to verify, instead of scrolling down or moving to locate that cell, quickly you press F5, it opens the dialog box, and then you type in the cell value. Once you know the cell address, you type in the cell address, it takes you up automatically to that particular cell. All right, we are making progress tonight. Then Shift F5 is also to open Find dialog box. If Find, which in the home key, you can, I think it's in the home or insert, I think it's on any of these. If I expand this more, I can be able to see it easily. I think, yes, this Find and select this search icon here. If you want to open it without going to this place, you can press Shift 5. When you press Shift F5, it will open it. So we use this in data cleaning. We use this particular function in data cleaning. For example, you have a data you want to clean, the text is not formatted accurately, maybe some is some of them is let's say some of them is in small letter, some is in capital letter, and what have you. You can say find and replace. So here, if you can say find, and you can use replace. If you want to find, you can say I'm find east and replace it with, let's say for example, you are asked to make it capital letter. Your manager comes and says, no, the region, we need you to make the regions in capital letter. You can use find and replace. Once you press Shift F5, it comes up. It will find east and replace it with this. So if you come here, you can press replace all. So once you do that, it shows you how many replacement that is done. All done, we made 1010 replacement. So anywhere you can now say okay. As you can see, the east now becomes capital letter or uppercase. So that way is being rectified. All right, that is for the basic navigation keyboard shortcut. Next, we will be moving to cell selection. To cell selection keyboard shortcut. We have this cell selection keyboard shortcut. Now, what are the cell selection keyboard shortcut? This is where I make in working with Excel, working with large data set, I make use of this selection keyboard. Most of them I use them so often. For example, I want to, let's say I want to highlight only this particular range, or I want to highlight this range of data. For example, I can click and drag. That's one of the ways I do it. Another way you can use is the first keyboard shortcut here, which is Shift plus arrow keys. Now, what it does is to select one cell per time. What it does is to select one cell per time. That's what it does, to select one cell per time. Please, so when we press Shift arrow key, for example, let's I press the forward arrow, it select one cell forward. If I press backward, it deselect it. If I go backward, it select this. If I go upward, it select up, like this, if is what I want to do. So I use this when I don't want to select the entire range and I don't want to drag down and make mistake. For example, I can just hold Shift and hold the down arrow. When I reach there, I stop. So this way is one of the ways you select when you want to select individual cells. So remember, it selects one cell per time. Once you hold Shift and press any of the arrow keys, it selects one cell per time. Please, can you confirm if you can still hear me? Confirm if you can still hear me. Confirm if you can still hear me. Please kindly drop in the chat if you can still hear me, if you can see my screen. Let's do that quickly so that we can be able to cover all the 100 keyboard shortcuts tonight. Not, we will definitely cover it. Whether it takes us 2 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes, we have to cover it because of time. We need to move straight into Excel formulas and functions, because those are areas that it makes you a real data analyst, a real Excel user. From there we graduate. Okay, that is Shift arrow. Then the next is Control Shift. Control Shift is what I used. You remember when I wanted to calculate sum of revenue. Control Shift is what I used. Control Shift arrow is what I used to select the entire range. I use it, in fact, that if I'm working with Excel and I'm analyzing data, financial data, any data in Excel, I always use this, Control Shift. So if I press Control Shift down arrow, you see I highlight the entire range. If I press Control Shift forward arrow, I highlight every stuff to the end. Backward, the same thing. So I make use of this Control backspace to get up. So Control Shift, if I'm here and I want to highlight all the rows, all this value here, let's say I want to highlight all the value here, I can press Control Shift forward. You see I highlighted all the values on that particular row. So that's what Control Shift arrow does, to highlight the entire range, the entire row, or the entire column, something. Remember, I have shown us if you want to get to the last row, you press Control down arrow, you get to the last row, which is 1,048,000 something. So Control Home, let me return to where we are. Okay, that is Control Shift arrow. Control A is to select the entire range, but here, remember I showed us area in Excel for beginners. If you want to select the entire range, it's very, very easier for you to come and click here straight. You don't need any stress. When you click here, you don't need any stress. But if not, if you are to use Control A, watch, if I press Control A, it will first highlight from here. So if I press Control A, you see it first select all this data range. So if that's not what I want to select all. I can now press Ctrl A again to now select all. So it's depending on how your data set is. You can use Ctrl A, but I always come here and press this if I want to select the entire data set. All right, beautiful. Thank you for that feedback. Thank you guys for that feedback. All right, that's Ctrl A. Then Ctrl Shift plus space bar is to select entire row. If I want to select the entire row, not just the range, not just the range. If I want to select the range, I can press Ctrl, Hold, Shift, and forward arrow to select the range of the data set. But here, in this case, anywhere I am in this data set or in this spreadsheet, anywhere I am, if I press Ctrl, Shift, space bar, it will select the entire range, the entire row, rather, the entire row. So if I press Ctrl, Shift, and space bar, it's okay, entire, that's a space, it selects the entire worksheet. There's an entire worksheet. If I press it again, like in Ctrl A, rather, like in Ctrl A, there's one that is confusing me, the one of Shift space bar, that's the one confusing me. So if you press Ctrl Shift space bar, is more like the same with Ctrl A, so anyone that you remember you use. All right, moving forward, we have Shift plus space arrow, space bar rather, Shift and space bar. Just hold Shift and press space bar. That's the one I'm talking about. It selects the entire row. So if you are moving forward, you will see it selects the entire row, whether it has data or not. It selects the entire row, whether it has data or not. It selects it. That's the one we call Shift space bar. Shift space bar. Then to select the entire column, that's Ctrl space. To select the entire column, Ctrl space. It selects the entire column, Ctrl space. Now you might wonder, if I'm here and I press Ctrl space, it selects everything here. The reason is simple. Now let me explain that to you. The reason is simple is because this cell here is merged. I merge this cell. So anything that enters this merged cell, we take it as one. Hence, it stops where it merged. So that is why you have it this way. But if you are here and you press Ctrl space, it will only select this entire range, the entire column. Both the one that has data and the one that doesn't have data in it. For example, let me scroll down to show us, and then if you start clicking, you will see what we have. Okay, then that's Ctrl Shift Home is to select, extend selection to the beginning. Now, for example, if I'm here, if I'm at this particular place and I press Ctrl Shift and press Home, you see it extends selection to the beginning. Now let me start from here so that it doesn't, let me start from here. So if I press Ctrl Shift, and press Home, you see what happens. It starts from here and extend it to the beginning. That's to A1. To extend it to beginning, that's A1, that's Ctrl Shift Home. Then if we come here to say Ctrl Shift End, Ctrl Shift and End, it takes it to the last, like we talked about earlier. That's the last use cell. Okay, that's on that aspect. Then the next is Ctrl plus click. Ctrl plus click. Now you will definitely use these ones. You will definitely use this in one time, one way or the other. I use it sometimes. Ctrl plus click is to select specific cells. To select specific cells. So what do I mean by selecting specific cells? If I want to, let's take for example, here I want to select only IMO, only cells that have IMO on them. If I want to select only cells that have IMO. So what I can do here is sometimes what I can do here, instead if I want to select, somehow I can filter. For example, I can just filter only that, but if let's say this is a small data set and I just want to select only those that have IMO in it, I can hold my control. When I hold control, I begin to click. You can see when I click IMO, you see they are all selected. Only the IMO, the ones I want. If I move down and select only IMO. So hold control and be clicking is to select specific cells. So I can decide now to select also the revenue that are attached to them. For example, I can decide to select also the revenues that are attached to them. I can also decide to select the prices that are attached to them. For example, and the units sold, if need be, I can decide to select them. I can also decide to select the dates. So you see, while holding control and then I'm clicking to select the ones I want. So that's what control click does. It helps us to select specific columns or specific cells. Let me use it that way. Then control shift L is to activate our filter button. So if I press control shift L to activate our filter button, like you can see, this drop down arrows here is filter buttons. Control shift L is to activate the filter button. If I want to deactivate it, I will also press control shift L as well. That will deactivate. Okay, that is cell selection keyboard shortcut. In total, we have been able to have done 20 shortcuts. Let's move fast due to time. The next we will be looking at is editing and data entry keyboard shortcuts. Now, enter button is to move cell down. When you finish entering data and you hit enter, it moves the cell down. That is that when you press shift enter, it moves the cell upwards. Shift enter moves it upward. Enter moves it downward. Then tab, I have talked about this in beginners class as well. Tab is to move it forward, and shift tab is to move it backward. Shift tab is to move it backward. Then F2 is to edit active cell. Now let's say this active cell, this you want to change this value here. You want to change it here. When you click on it, you can start typing. But let's say here, this is 11.11.272, not 8.2. For example, there was a mistake in entering here and you want to edit this. You want to change 8 to 2. You can't just come here and start typing. Unless you want to waste time, you can come and say 11.11 and start typing. Here you can change it and say is 5. Type immediately change. But here you can press F2 so as to activate this active cell. Remember this active cell, I have explained what active cell in the beginners class. So if I press F2, you see it brings me inside to edit the stuff. I can use my arrow key to take it to where it is, delete it and put 2. If that is that, then hit enter so as to have that editing effect. So that is F2. F2 activates or makes active cell to be editable or activate the active cells. So if I come here and press F2, it makes it as if editable, so I can change whatever I want to change in it. All right, that's F2. Then let's move on to Alt Enter. I have also showed us this. Alt Enter is to insert line break. For example, here, let's say this, I'm not seeing this very well. I'm not seeing this very well, and I want it to break. I can press Alt Enter. Now, sorry, I need to first activate it. So what I will do first, I can come here, press F2. The cell is active. I can come in front here. See my cursor, see where it's blinking here. When I now press Alt Enter, you see that I have break this to the second line. If I now click out or hit Enter, you see it's selling price per unit still within the cell width. So that's what we use that to do. Then the Control D, I have already shown us what that does in our basic class when I handled some basic tricks in Excel. That is when I did this. Here, if you press Control D, it fills down. If you press Control R, it fills right. So that is what we have. So let me remove this. Let me go to cell, clear format. So let me even clear all. All right. Now that is what Control D does and Control R does. Now Control semicolon is to insert current date. If you are entering data, you want the current date. To insert current date, you just press Control semicolon. That will insert the current date, like we have here today. Today's date is 16th September 2025. If you want to insert the current time, you press Control Shift semicolon. That will insert the current time, and as it stands now, is 9 p.m. on the dot. So that is a shortcut for editing and data entry. Shortcut for editing and data entry. Okay, moving forward, we are going over to the formatting keyboard shortcut in Microsoft Excel. Here, formatting keyboard shortcut in Microsoft Excel. Let me know if you are following. If you are following, type in the comment following, so that I know that we are following, that we are on. If you are following, type in the comments, type in the live chat following. If you are following me, type in the live chat following. We are moving to the formatting keyboard shortcut. This is the fourth aspect in the keyboard shortcut. If you are following, help me to type following. Drop in the comments, drop in the live chat following. All right. Please, I want us to, before I proceed, thank you, Ayomide, and Danny Beautiful for that feedback. Please, before I proceed, I want us to look at the shortcuts that you can be able to be using every now and then. There are shortcuts that you will be using. Don't hesitate. Begin to practice them. Begin to use them often, because the more often you use them, the more easier it aligns with you and it becomes part of you. I'm not saying that I use all these hundreds keyboard shortcuts every now and then. No. But most times most of them I use them most times, depending on the data set I'm working on. So please feel free, to be using them so often so that they master you. All right. Now, moving over to formatting keyboard shortcut. Moving over to formatting keyboard shortcut. Thank you, Hilly Grayson and Pressure Tedema for that feedback. Adeboala for the feedback. Thank you, guys. All right. Now let's move to formatting keyboard shortcut. The first on the list there is Control 1. Control 1 is to open format cell dialog. I use that often. I use it often as well working with Excel and data set. If I press Control 1, it opens this dialog box. This that opens is the same as if you come to home and you come to number formatting and you come to this place and click. So it opens the number format, but it's the same like I said. So instead of going to be clicking there, just Control 1, we open that. You can do your general formatting, you can do your number formatting. When we get into deeper Excel analysis, you will see some things we can use this number formatting, currency, what we can use it for, accounting, what we can use it for, date. This depending on the kind of formatting you want. On number formatting, then alignment is also here. You want to wrap text, you want to shrink, to fit, you want to merge cells is here, to work on the font, to work on border, to work on fill, to work on protection. When we get to data security, we will be making use of this place also. All right, that's what Control 1 does. And of course, these are basic Microsoft Word as well. If you have done Microsoft Word, you will know this basic keyboard shortcut Control B to bold. If you want to bold this particular data, you can press Control B to bold it. As you can see here, is bold. Control I is to italicize. When you press Control I, you see what it is. If you want to remove it, press Control I again. That is gone. If you want to remove this, Control B again. That is done. So Control 5 is strike through. When you press Control 5, you see it is strike through. You press Control 5 again. That deactivate. Then if I want to fill the color, if I want to fill color here, what I will do is Alt HH. Now let me inform us that something just entered my mind now. You know, if you know me, you know that I'm a football fan. I'm taking sacrifice to handle this course this night, knowing fully well that UEFA Champions League is going on. Those of us that understand what I'm saying, you understand. Knowing fully well that UEFA Champions League is going on, and one of my team is currently playing. Real Madrid is currently playing. But what must be done must be done. I will do that which I know and love to do. Like I said, this is one thing I'm so much passionate about. To teach is one thing I'm so much passionate about, and we must do what we must do. All right, that's on a lighter note. Let's proceed. Alt HH is fill color. So if I press Alt HH, you see it opens this fill color. So anyone I select, you see the change. Okay, let me click here and use that. Alt HH, it opens the fill color. So if I come here, you see the color being changed. If I select any of these, you see the color. So with that, I will just do that fast. If I don't want to come here and be clicking the drop down arrow, I can just press Alt HH. It opens it up for me. I select anyone that I want. All right, beautiful. And there you can also press Alt M. It brings you up to this particular course selections where you can maneuver colors as well. So that is on the fill color. The one of font color. The one of font color is Alt HFC. So when you press HFC, it brings you the fill color. So you look at it. If I select red now, you see the font itself is what is changing, not the background, not the cell color. The font itself is what is being changed, not the cell color. So if I do that Alt HFC, that brings open up the font color panel. Then left alignment, center alignment, I'm going to make use of this. So let's say I select this cell that I merged, and I want to center align is already on the center align. Let me use left alignment. If I press Alt HAL, if I press Alt HAL. So you see automatically that aligns to the left. If I press Alt HAC, that aligns to the left. Align to the center as well. Alt HAC, that align to the center. That center alignment. Then Alt HAR. Alt HAR, so that right alignment. So these are for formatting. If you want to align left, if you want to align right, and all that, you select. Also, you can do it here. These are left, this is center, this is right. So due to, I don't usually use these ones due to the multiple alphabet selections. I quickly come here to click any of these. So that's the one I use. But we have to also let us know that these shortcuts exist. All right. Now moving forward, we are going to go over to rows and columns keyboard shortcut. We are moving over to rows and columns keyboard shortcut. Precious, you are laughing me. Thank you guys. No, I'm not an Arsenal fan. No, I'm not a why? I'm not a second trophy fan. That's on a lighter note. If you're an Arsenal fan, forgive me, but you guys are second always. Don't worry. I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm a Madrid and Chelsea fan. If those that know me, some of you that know me on this call already know that. Okay, that's on that. Hala Madrid, yes. Though I'm not able to see what they are playing, but I want to believe that we are going to win at the end of the day. All right, let's proceed. That's on the lighter note as well. Okay, now row and column keyboard shortcuts. So here I'm going, let's take for example, I want to insert a row, I want to insert a column. On this here, I want to insert row or column. If I press hold Control, hold Shift, and then the plus button, press the plus button, you see that this dialog box shows up. It's asking me Shift cell right, Shift cell down, entire row, entire column. So if I say Shift cell down, for example, if I select this and say Shift cell down and say OK, you see what it does. Only this particular one is Shift it down and they start a new cell for me. So it doesn't have to displace other data in this place. Control Z to undo. If I press Control Shift plus, it opens this again for me. If I say entire row, that's when it will remove the entire row. It will insert a new row for me and then displace, move the other ones down or upwards. So if I say OK, you see it affects everything here. So Control Z to undo. That is Control Shift plus. So you have, it brings a dialog box where you have options to choose. Now, if you want to delete a row, yes, we are the world champions. We are the only club that have done what no club could do. We have won all the trophies that are to be won. Thank you, Douglas. Yes, up Chelsea. All right. Thank you for that. That's on a lighter note, so that we smile, we laugh small, and we learn, so that it won't be all serious all through. Okay. Beautiful. Thank God tomorrow there is no section, so I will cool down and watch the Chelsea game. Okay. Now the next we have is control minus. If you want to delete a row or a column, control minus, you will bring the delete option or the delete dialog. If you want to delete cell, the same thing, anyone you select. If you want to delete the entire row, you select. If you want to shift cell up to delete, if you want to shift cell down, left or whatever. So if I select up here and say okay, it moves this one up and then it affects something here. So that's my reference formula, it affects it here. So if I press Ctrl Z, everything comes up. So that is to delete. Control minus is to delete. Control Shift plus is to insert. Okay, Control 0 is to hide column. Pay attention here, please. Control 0 is to hide column, please. So if I press Control 0, you notice that there is a column here. This column is hidden. This column is hidden. As you can see here, we're supposed to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but I have hidden F column because I'm in the F column. That's by Control O. So Control 9 is to hide selected row. So if here I'm in row 14, this is row 14, and I press Control 9, I have this row 14 is now hidden. So to unhide column, we can use Control Shift 0. But please, I need to state this. If your system is Windows 10 or Windows 11, most likely it will not work. So that when you press it and you see it doesn't work, you will know that you have to know that yes, I told you that already. When you click Control Shift 0, it will not work. For example, now I press Hold Control, Hold Shift and press 0. It doesn't work. It's what is hidden is not being unhid or unhide. Now, why is that so? The reason is simple. Why that didn't happen is because in Windows 10 or Windows 11, which is the operating system, if it's the operating system your a laptop is using or your desktop computer is using, one of the keyboard shortcuts of Windows operating system is Control Shift 0. So inbuilt, the Windows operating system have taken this shortcut for its operation. So when you use it in Excel for unhiding, it will not work. But if it's, I think Windows 7, I'm not sure if anybody is still using Windows 7 operating system now, but if you are using Windows 7 operating system, if you try it, it most definitely will work. So how do you remove it? How do you unhide? Now when you hide using Control 0 to unhide, you come to this place. You will see E and G and come in between them. Once your cursor is something that shows separation, it shows two lines, the arrow forward and the arrow backward. It's not like this. This is not like plus sign with one arrow off forward and backward. When you come here, it shows something like this. Once your cursor yes is in this format, what you do is you right click. So once you right click, you will see this option here called unhide. So you click on it, automatically that comes out. But for the one of role, Control Shift 9 works. So if I press Control Shift 9, automatically the 14 is now visible. We can see it. So remember what I said on that 0. Then auto fit column width. Auto fit column width. And let's say which one will I use now? to auto fit column width. So let's say we have this and I press Alt HOI. You see automatically it gives it the exact fit it needs. That's what we call auto fit. Of course, I have shown us another way of doing that, which is if it's here, you come here and double click, it gives it the auto fit. So either way, that way, either way is okay, you can work with. Then this is auto fit row height. So if I come here, we have something like this, and I press Alt HOA. Alt HOA. It gives it automatically, gives it the exact fit it requires for the auto row height, auto fit row height. Then set column width. If you want to set a column width, if you want to set column width, you want to set a particular column width, that's Alt HOW. It brings you this dialog box where you can set the width. Any number you put here, that's what it will take. So that's based on your choice. Then the same way we do to the one on height as well. That works for height. When you press Alt HOH, it brings up for row height. As you can see the name here, row height. You type any height you want here, that will take effect. All right, I'm rushing it to see that we finish up. We have already passed 1 hour on this live section, and we have done row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have done within the 1 hour. We have been able to do 50 keyboard shortcuts. All right, let's see we can be able to complete it within the next 1 hour so that we don't exceed 2 hours on this live section. All right, now if you are with me here, the second attendance is ongoing. Your name, your scholarship ID, your location, much appreciated. Your name, your scholarship ID, and your location, much appreciated. All right, we are moving to the formulas keyboard shortcut. Formulas keyboard shortcut. Formulas keyboard shortcut. For the second attendance, for the day, your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Please let's remember to follow these particular instructions as they come. Your name, your location, your scholarship ID, much appreciated. All right, now we are going to be moving over to the formulas keyboard shortcut in Microsoft Excel. Now starting is with equals to. I call it the almighty rule. I call it the almighty formula. I call it the almighty, in Excel, I call it the almighty formula. I call it the almighty rule. I call it the almighty instruction. Because whatsoever transformation, whatsoever function, whatsoever formula that you want to carry out in Microsoft Excel, it must begin with a quality sign. I repeat, it must begin with a quality sign. For Excel to recognize any formula, any function in Microsoft Excel, that has to begin with a quality sign. So when you put equals to in Microsoft Excel, then that way Excel recognizes it. For example, if I have 2 here and I have 6 here, and this is not the one I'm using. Let's take, for example, I have 2 here and I have 6 here, and I want to sum up these 2. If I come here and I take and I say 2 plus 4, 2 plus 6, and click out, you see this has, it looks as if I'm entering a figure, I'm entering a value in Microsoft Excel. Excel will not recognize it as data transformation. Now, what is data transformation? Let me take this opportunity to just give us a brief analogy. Data transformation is just changing data from one form to another. When we say transformation, when somebody said that you have undergone a transformation, that means there is a change. Something has changed. So in data transformation, when we say this to this being transformed to, let's say, 8, that has to do with, we have to put a equality sign here. So when we put equals to and then I click out, when you put equals to rather and then hit enter, automatically that is being transformed to 8. Excel now recognizes this plus as an operator. Before now, the equality sign that is not there, Excel does not recognize the plus sign as an operator. This is an operator, a plus operator. In Microsoft, when we get into Excel functions and formulas, I will explain to us what is a function and what's a formula. All right. Okay. So this, if I put another operator here, let's say minus operator, and hit enter, it gives us another value. So that is a quality sign that is very important. I know why I took time to explain it. I know why I took time to explain it, so that we have to understand that. Okay, now that is the aspect of starting a formula. Then the one of auto sum of equals to, I think I have taught us that earlier. Let's say I want to calculate the total sum, the total units. So let's say I want to calculate the total units. So if I press Alt equals to, that will bring me the sum and highlight the entire range up until the last number up there. So if I hit enter, it will give me the total units. So that's 30,947 units. So that is the one of auto sum. It's a shortcut, very powerful shortcut key. I use it most times. All right, control up. So we get up to where we are. All right, the next one is Control Shift Enter. Control Shift Enter is where we enter an array formula. Now let's say here, let's say I press Control Shift Enter. We are not going to experience anything. Now if I'm here, I press Control Shift Enter, we are not going to experience array. Array is okay. Array is what do we call it? Array functions. Array functions. Those functions like unique. I will remind me please. Remind me when we get to functions and formulas. I will use that to explain this. I will use that to explain this when we get to that. That is what we call the array functions. The unique, the filter, the sort, these are array functions. So to do that, remind me to do that. Then Control apostrophe is to show formulas. So if I press Control apostrophe, it shows the formula that is used to get this value here. That shows it's a product function. We used a product function to get this array, to get this value. So that's Control apostrophe. Then Control Shift plus U or Control Shift U to expand or to collapse formula bar. To expand or collapse formula bar. Control Shift U. You see that the formula bar is expanded. If you press Ctrl Shift U as well, it collapses it. All right. Now, if here I say Ctrl this, it moves to the precedence. That it jumps to the precedence cell. So what that precedence cell is, that cell gives birth to this. That cell gives birth to this. So if I press Control, no, it goes to dependent rather. Dependent. This cell depends on this. If I Control open bracket of this, it goes to this one as well. So that it moves to precedence or dependent. Precedence or dependent. So that is what we are looking at. Okay. Then the next one is to trace dependence. If we want to trace dependence, let's say this, I want to trace dependence. I press Alt MD. So Alt MD, where it depends, is showing us the dependence. When we move forward, it's showing us where the dependence. We can see all these values here. All these values here, because if we click on it, we are seeing some if. So these values depend on these values here. So that is what to trace dependents are. So that's what to trace dependents in Microsoft. Okay, now here also is where you can also do the tracing of dependents and all that. This you can also trace. If you want to remove the arrows, you can remove them from here. So that is for the tracing of the dependents. Okay, now the next one is Shift F, the start function. If you want to open the function button, the function window, let me call it like that, let me use that terminology, the function window. If you want to open the function window, that is what you use. You press Shift F3. Shift F3, we open the function window. So that function window will show us the function we are using, and then if we want to change the function as well, we can go ahead and change it. All right. So here we have the function window, which we can, if you want help in this, you say, okay, that's the function. We have some if, the range criteria, some range, that if you don't want to do the work straight in Microsoft Excel, you can use the sum function argument. All right. You can do that anywhere on the, you can still do that anywhere. When you press Shift F3, you can do that anywhere. So it opens the function argument where you can select any function you want. These are popular functions: VLOOKUP, hyperlink, count, any function. If you want to search for functions, you come here, you click on it, you search. We have financial, date, math, statistical, and so on and so forth. Then if you don't want this, you can say all. Then you can now see all functions available, all functions available in Excel. Okay, we close this. Then the next one is tab. Now what does that tab does in formula? For example, let me say here, I'm entering a formula and I said equals to, I type X, it brings about X like this, and I put L, it brings X lookup for me. instead of me coming here to double click, which I do most often, if you don't want to do that, you press the tab button. So when you press the tab button, automatically it fills up the entire formula for you. So you start doing whatever you want to do. So the tab button is to help you to auto-complete the function. If you here you have V, L, and that you press tab to fill up the entire function for you. That is what tab does. Okay, that is for the formula keyboard shortcuts. Moving forward, we are going to be looking at the copy, paste, and clipboard keyboard shortcuts. This one we are going to just be fast on it. We are going to be fast on it. These are basic ones to copy. Control C. If I want to copy this, I just press Control C to copy. That's if I press this Control C to copy, and then if I want to cut, I press Control X. Okay, let me use this. If I want to copy, Control C. If I want to cut, Control X. If I want to paste, I come here and paste, Control V. So the X is to cut, to remove stuff from here and paste. But if I want to retain it, I can say Control C and then come here and paste it, Control V. Automatically this will be retained. So X is when you don't want it to be retained, you just want to cut it off from here and place it on another cell. That's when you use X, Control X. That's when you use Control X. Alright. Now the next is Control Alt V to open up the paste special button or dialog box. Control Alt V. Control Alt V is to open up. It should open for me. Control Alt V. Why? Okay, I think, this works on the older version, but Control Shift V, what? Control Alt, Control Shift V, why it didn't work? Let's try any of this on our own. I think, am I having any challenge? Let me check here. Control Alt V. It's supposed to open a paste special dialog. Control Shift V. Or to open is supposed to open. Let's try this on our own. Let me know whether it's my Excel or is it the version I'm using, because I know any of these should work on my own. So one of them is for older version and one is for newer version. I don't know why it's not working, but I have used that, though I don't usually use it often. What I do is, okay, my paste special is not active. Okay, wait, there's something I need to do. Let me copy this, Control C. Alright, now when I copy and I say Control Alt V, yes, I think that is what I missed. Control Alt V, we open this paste special but dialog. So I can select any of these. Now, for example, if I copy this, Control C, and I want to paste it, but I want to paste it horizontally. I want to transpose this in the transpose simply means horizontally. I can come here and say Control Alt V to open this dialog box. I will select this and I maybe select text as values and other stuff if I need it, and say OK. Now automatically this is pasted horizontally, so that way we can do that. Alt the Control Alt V, that is on the aspect of Control Alt V. Also, let's say I copy this Control C and I press Control Shift V as well. Okay, this one is for newer version 2024 Office 365. So if I copy this Control C and I press Control Shift V, so that doesn't work. I know I have used one of them with this my Excel here. So this one is for newer version, let's say Office 2024 and Office 365. If you try that, it will work. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, Ayomide. Yes, that's where my error was. That's where my error was. Okay, then the Control Z, Control Y, which we already know, I'm not going to be dwelling much on it, is to undo and redo. So if I want to undo what I did there, I press Control Z. It will undo what I did. Okay. Then if I want to redo it, I press Control Y. It will redo it. So that's what Control Y and Control X and Z is all about. Then F4 is to repeat last action. So F4, this is my last action. So if my last action is to delete this. Now if I press F4, it will, okay, let me press on. Okay. Now, if my last action is to delete this, if I press F4, it will repeat my last action. I'm mistaking it with undo. It will repeat my last action. My last action is to delete. So if I come here, I press F4, it repeats my last action. So since my last action is delete, it will repeat it. So Control Z. Let's get back to what we have. Okay, then Control Shift C is copy formatting. Let's, for example, what we mean by formatting. Let's say I come here, come to this place, make this red, or let's say I make it white. Let's say I make it white and then make it black. Come here, make it bold. And what else? Let's say I put outline, come to the outline, go to more border. Under more border, I select this, make it white. I select it and make it white. So, and then say OK. Now let's say this formatting, all this formatting, I want to copy it. So if I come here and then press Control Shift C, Control Shift C, Control Shift C, then I think that's copy formatting. It doesn't work on my own. I need to let me check here. Okay, the one I use is this. If that one doesn't work for you, you can use format painter. You can use format painter. If that one didn't work for you, you can use format painter. So if you click on format painter, if you select format painter, why? It should work. So if you select format painter, this will come out. You can see this cushion with brush. So if you come here and click on it, it will format these particular values. That way is you can copy formatting. The same way if you come here and double click on it, if you double click on it, so you can now use it as many as you want. You click on this, 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 your choice. You can use it as many as you want. When you are done, you can now press escape button. That's ESC key. ESC key, you press it, that is gone. So if your Control Shift C doesn't work, you can use format painter. All right, then Control apostrophe is to copy formula from above, from cell above. From cell above. So if I come here and say Control apostrophe, you see the formula from cell above is this, that this minus 4 is 2 minus 6. So you can copy the formula from cell above. So let's also go forward here. Or let me say Control down. Here, if you say Control apostrophe, it copies the formula above. This is the formula above. So that way you have the value we have here, the same value. Okay, let's move forward. We have concluded the aspect of copy, paste, and clipboard. That's the shortcut. Moving forward is the workbook and worksheet management, keyboard shortcut. Workbook and worksheet keyboard shortcuts. These are also easy to note. The first three, Control N, is to open a new workbook. If you want to quickly open a new workbook, you just press Control N. That's Control N. As you can see, this is a new workbook. So if you want to open workbook, Control O, you get to this particular place, open, where you can do save as, where you can open an existing workbook you have already. These are workbooks we have. If I want to open any of them, I can do that, but I don't want. Let me go back to where we are. Then if you want to save, Control X. Now let me state this, that X, Control X, you use Control X as save when saving workbook. If you haven't saved it before, if you haven't saved anything on it before, that way you can, when you press Control X, it's going to act as save as. If you haven't, I have saved this workbook. That's why you can see here exec function for data analysis. I have saved it before. But if you haven't saved the workbook before and you press Control X, it's going to act as if you press F12. It's going to act as save as. But once you have saved it before and then you press Control X, it's going to save your last action. So whatever you did, edit, and that, and you press Control X, is going to save it into the workbook. So that's normal Control X we have. It works, Control X, it works for virtually all Office applications. So if I press Control X here, you see it will be rolling, showing me that it's saving. So it has saved any actions I have done on this particular workbook ever since I opened it. All right, we are progressing. Then F12 is to open save as. When you press F12, that's to open save as. Where if I want to change the name of this workbook into another name or whatever, or save it in another folder, in another directory, in another place, I can do those changes. So that's save as. Now Control W is to close the workbook. So if I say Control N to open a workbook and I press Control W, is to close that workbook. That's Control W. Then Control P is to open the print dialog. To open the print dialog. So if I say Control P, it will open the print dialog, where I set my printing, connect to printer, set the pages, set the layout, the page size and all that. But we are going to get to that as we progress in Excel. Okay, that's we have there. Control page down is to switch to the previous sheet. Control page down is to switch to previous sheet. Now, if this, I think, okay, let me move to the next. If I'm in this sheet and I press Control page up, it moves me to the previous. So if I press Control page down, it moves me to the next sheet. So that way you can navigate them. If you are not close to your mouse, if you are not close to your mouse, or your mouse is misbehaving and you just quickly need to navigate to the next sheet to see stuff, you can use this shortcut as well. Okay, then Shift 11 is to insert a new sheet. If like your mouse is not working or is stiff or whatever, you can press Shift 11. You can see we just inserted a new sheet. So if I want to delete this worksheet now, I can just hold Alt. If I hold Alt, I press HDS. I have deleted that worksheet. So that is how you can delete. Worksheet, the shortcut. Okay, we have talked about workbook and worksheet management. Next, we are moving to tables, charts, and objects. Tables, charts, and objects. Let me know if you are following. Type in the comments, type in the live chat, I'm following. If you are following me up to this moment, type in the live chat, I'm following. Remember, I said those that we have access to this data set, to this Excel data set of these keyboard shortcuts are those that are with me on this live session. I dropped it in the group, especially Cohort 1. Those that are with me on this live session are those that can have access to this data set. So let me know if you are following. Drop in the chat if you are following me up to this moment. Let me see your comments. Beautiful. Shadrach, Blessing, beautiful, your video. All right. I'm waiting for more responses. There are more people on this session, on this live. If you are with me here, type I'm following. We are moving to the next keyboard shortcuts in Microsoft Excel. These are productivity tools. These are productivity shortcuts, tricks that you need to master in order to work faster, more efficient in Microsoft Excel. All right, beautiful. Amina, good to have you. I've been expecting to see your chart because you have been one of the consistent persons in cohort 1. Good to see your chart now. Amina, good to have you. Toby Samuel, good, and Ibe, Florence Oba. All right, let's proceed. Let's proceed. Now, for the tables, charts, and objects, the shortcuts, Control T is the first keyboard shortcut. I use that every now and then. For example, if I want to convert this data set to a table, instead of going to format as table, instead of going to click format as table, I will just come here and press Ctrl T. Automatically, it will highlight the entire data range, dictate the data range I'm talking about, and then give me this option here. So if I say OK, it will highlight it as, it will convert it to the table. It will convert it to the table. All right. Williams, you are welcome. Good to have you. Drums of Legend. All right, beautiful. Okay. Now, Control L also converts data to table. That also, if I press Control L, it's also work the same way. So either way, either one you want to use. Either one you want to use. If I say OK, you see this data set is converted to table where you see this. This shows that this data is now converted to table. So if you want to convert it from table to range, but in Excel, in analysis, it is required, it is expected, it is recommended that you work with tables. You convert your data set to tables, clean it up, and convert it to tables that you can work with. Okay, guys, confirm if we can still hear me. Yeah. Confirm if we are audible now. Wow. Please confirm if you can hear me now. We are about to round up. We are, after this, we are in the last one. We are about to round up. Confirm if you can hear me now. All right. Thank you, Shadrach. Thank you. All right. Be beautiful. Okay, my mic went off. I didn't know that my mic went off. Okay. Please let me know where you stop hearing me. Please, let's quickly drop in the comment where you stop hearing me. Where exactly? Please help me drop in the chat where you stop hearing me. On Thursday, I'm going to be dealing with at least 50 functions, formula and functions for every data analyst. You wouldn't want to miss it. If you miss that, you haven't, in fact, if you miss that, you are not an Excel practice, you will not go far in Microsoft Excel. If you don't understand functions and formulas, that your Excel foundation will be faulty. Okay, Control T, Control L. All right, I'm going to run that again. On Thursday, I'm going to handle 50 functions and formulas for every data analyst, every Excel user, from beginner to advanced. If you miss that, you definitely don't have foundation in Excel as an analyst. I'm saying that with my full chest. If you miss to master functions and formulas in Excel, from beginner level to advanced functions and formulas, you lack foundation. Your foundation is faulty in Microsoft Excel. And if your Excel foundation is faulty, what can you do? You definitely can't do much in Excel. So be sure you are here on Thursday. Okay, now we are going to go back to tables. We will round up in a short while. After now, we are getting to the last keyboard shortcut we have for the day. So Control T, like I said, Control T is to create table. Instead of going to home and saying format as table, you can quickly press Control T. Automatically, it will dictate the range of your data. If you move up now, you see Excel dictates the range, and this asking you, my table have headers, and the headers are this: product ID, date, zip, and so on. When you say OK, you will see that this will be formatted as table, where you see your filter buttons. These are filter buttons. And I said earlier, if you are working with Excel, if you are analyzing data, large data set, training data, it is highly recommended and highly required that you work with tables. Convert your data to tables and work with them. As we progress in this course, I'm going to teach us exact tables and its functionalities. Okay, but now I'm going to convert it to range. To convert it to a range of data is just to right click, go to page. I'll click on it. Yes, I will say okay. Yes, I will click on yes. Automatically it converts to range. All right, Control L is the same as Control T. When we say Control L, it works the same way as Control T. So either way, any of them you want to use, you can use. Yes, it's already 10. Remember, we started 8:15. It's supposed to be a 2-hour class. We started 8:15. So we will be ending 10:15. By the grace of God, we should be ending 10:15. If we start 8, we will be ending, our time should be 8 to 10. But we, based on our Muslim brothers that have prayers by 8, we restructured and make it to be 8:15, so that by 10:15 thereabout we should be rounding up our sections. So I will be rushing to finish. I will be rushing it now. All right, then the next one is to insert pivot table. Alt NV is to insert pivot table. Alt NV, automatically it shows us to insert pivot table. Don't bother, don't worry about pivot table. We are going to do justice to it. We are going to do justice to it on this core data analysis. We are going to learn about pivot table and these powerful uses. Every data analyst using Excel knows pivot table and its uses effectively. If you can do that, you can beat your chest to an extent and say, yes, I'm good in Excel. All right. Then the next one is to insert charts. To insert charts. That is where I showed us here. For example, if you have this class and result, JS1 to JS3, SS1 to SS3, and this is their average score or average results, and you want to you want to insert a chart, or you want to quickly plot a chart, you can just use this we have here, Alt F1, automatically it insert the most accurate chart that is comfortable or most good for the particular data set. It does that. So that is for Alt F1 to insert a chart. Then we have F11, which we already have to insert a new worksheet, to insert chart in new sheet. F11 to insert chart in new sheet. So if we press F11, it's a new sheet. This chart is a new sheet. So you can see it, chart 1. That's what we have here as a new sheet. So that's what we have in new sheet. Then Alt J is, let me delete this. I don't need it. Yes. Alt J is for drawing tool. Just Alt J, it will take you to the drawing tool. That's Alt J. It brings you to the drawing tools. Then to insert hyperlink. To insert hyperlink, like I said, let's say you have this data set and you don't want to, let's say you got this data set from your company website, and then you don't want to assume where you get it. You want to be sure where you get the data set. You can come here and use hyperlink, so that anytime you click on it, it will directly take you to that particular page on your company website. So to do that, you just press Ctrl K. Ctrl K, we open the hyperlink dialog. Then you can enter the URL, or you copy that page link. You copy that page link and paste it here. You come and copy it and paste it here and say, okay, that's inserting hyperlink. Then to insert picture. To insert picture is simple, also Alt NP. It will open you this illustration pictures, and then it will ask you, do you want from device, stock images, or online pictures? Anyone you select. If we say from device, it will take us to this place. If I take these pictures, come to save pictures, nothing here, to downloads, documents, and that anywhere you have a picture, you select and you can insert. Then Control 1 is also, we have talked about that, to open a format dialog to select whatever. Then Delete is to delete entire chart or entire chart element. You use delete. Like, do we have that? Okay, let me say Alt F1 to come here. So here, if I want to delete this, this is a chart element. This is also a chart element. This is also a chart element. Let's say I want to delete this. I click on it and then press delete. Automatically that element is gone. If I want to delete this, I click on it, press delete. That one is gone. So that's what we use delete for. All right, moving over to the last, which I called I think we have talked about tables. Oh God, okay. Tables, okay, mistake is I didn't rename this. I didn't rename it. I will productivity. Let me call it productivity tips. Okay, now for that is Ctrl+Shift+L is to toggle filter button. We have talked about that. Ctrl+Shift+L is to toggle it on and off. Okay, then Alt down arrow is to open filter. I have shown us this in one of the classes we had. I have shown us this control down to open a filter. In other words, if I come here and say Alt down arrow, now it will show me uniquely the unique values under this. It will show me the unique values under this. So I will select anyone that I'm working on, anyone that I want. If it's Anambra, if it's Edo, if it's Enugu, if it's Oyo, if it's Oshun, anyone I will select. That's the Alt down arrow. I use it often. It's a powerful shortcut. Then Control F is to open find, to open the find dialog, like I showed us earlier, that you can also press Control F to open the find dialog as well. So that is that. Control H is to open the replace dialog, which is the same as find. If you open any of them, you can interchange. So your choice. Then that's Ctrl+Shift hash is to format as date. To format as date. For example, if I want to format this as date, Ctrl+Shift and press hash. You see, I have already formatted it as date. If I want to format it as time, I can press Ctrl+Shift at. I formatted it as time. If I want to format it as currency, I will press Ctrl+Shift $. I've formatted it as currency. If I want to format it as percentage, I will press Ctrl+Shift %. I've formatted this as percentage. So that is one of the quick productivity tools you can lay your hands on. Let me bring it back. Then the next one is Alt-Q, quick search command. That's Alt-Q. It takes us to this quick search command where you can search anything, any of the Excel tools, functions that are available in Excel, and you know the spelling, you can search them here. And ladies and gentlemen, over to the last shortcut keyboard for tonight, which is Ctrl+Q. I use this guy very, very well. Ctrl+Q. When I press it, it brings out the analysis tool. So here you can format. You can go to formatting as bar, color, and what have you. Now, if Let me move forward, and then let me control shift down arrow and then control Q. Now if I come here, you see how that if I want to format this using data bars, showing each values or each quantity or quality using data bars, you can see this. If I want to do that during colors, using colors. If I want to use icons, you use this sharp, or this greater than, top 10, or top something in conditional formatting. Normal conditional formatting, you can use this. Let's say if you want to make it in charts, if you come here, you see different charts because the data is so long. This, if you want in total. Now, when you come to sum, let me come down a bit so that we can see it more clearly. Control Q. That pops up. If I come to total here, this is sum. You see it brings it the total. If I move to the average, it shows me average. It shows me the count. The total data range of this data is 5,630. If I come to total percentage, is showing me 100%, and running average this. So if I want to come to tables, is this, it shows me this in pivot. So in pivot, it can analyze it for me sharp in pivot and show me the total sum for Abia, Akwa Ibom, and the rest, as we can see here. Then if I want to move for pivot in the region, based on region, it shows me total for east, north, south, and west. Sharp. If I want to look at it as regards to products and the rest, as we have here, then sparkle lines. If here I want to insert a sparkle line in this, any of them, and all that. So that is one of the very powerful features I use often, and that is Control Q. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have come to the end of tonight's section. And finally, for tonight, attendance, your name, your location, and your scholarship ID. And also, let me get that feedback from us. How is tonight's section? What did you learn? Let me get that feedback from us. Remember to also drop your name, your location, and your scholarship ID for those of us in the scholarship group. And if you are with me on this live, remember to like this live session. If you are yet to subscribe, remember to hit the subscribe button so as to be always notified once we go live, once we bring out life transforming trainings. Here on the channel, we handle trainings, both tech, management, career coaching, and the likes. You will be glad that you are part of this community. All right, remember your name, your location, your scholarship ID, and also let me know how is tonight's section. What did you learn, and how is tonight's section? Let's bring it on. I'm in the comments right now. I'm in the chat. Drop in the live chat your name, your scholarship ID, and also let me know how is tonight's section. How is tonight's section? What did you learn? Thank you, Ayomide. Wonderful class so far. Thank you. Much appreciated. All right. Those of us in the scholarship that are with me tonight on tonight's section, remember, if you need this data set, send me a DM from tomorrow, not this night, please. Send me a DM from tomorrow. I will get you I will send you the data set. All right. Williams, brilliant all through. Thank you for that Tonight's section was enlightening. Thank you, Amina, for that feedback. Good to get that from us. Remember to drop your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Much appreciated. And eBay, thank you for simplifying Excel. I'm loving it. Good to get that from us. Yes, thank you for that. Simplifying is what we are going to ensure it does. We are moving from beginners. We are moving from absolute beginners, from basics. We are taking it up from basics to intermediate, and we move to advanced. All right, brilliant. All through the class was so expository. Thank you, Shadrach. Ohiru blessing. God bless you, sir. Thank you for that, Florence. I learned a lot, and we begin to use them. Thank you very much. Thank you. It will be well explained in simple terms. Thank you for that, Emmanuel. Actually, you are really good at what you do. Thank you for that. It was packed with so much, and I'm wondering when I will get all in my head. No, don't try to get all. Just see the ones you can use, or see the ones you use every now and then sure you practice them and use them. You mustn't get all, but you can get them saved. You can get these data sets and save them. When the time comes, you can consult your archives. Sometimes I forget some of these. I consult my archives and then refresh my mind. You most likely will not be able to save all of them on your head. Practice is the key. No matter how you save it in your head, no matter how you try to memorize it, if you fail to practice, you will forget them in due time, in no time. Always practice. That's the key. Thank you, everyone. Good for that feedback. See you guys on Thursday. Like I said, if you miss Thursday and you've misunderstanding it, not just miss it, if you misunderstanding it, and I'm going to try as much as possible to make everything in simplified manner, to teach every function in their basic simplicity. So from Thursday, Friday, we are going to looking at Excel function and formulas alongside with real life applications, real world applications. So you don't have to, in fact, you will not even want to miss it. You will not then want to miss it. Thank you once again, and do have a lovely night rest. Enjoy your night. Good night. And on a lighter note, I want to believe that Real Madrid won tonight's match. I want to believe later we check my scoreline and see if we won. However, I'm going to leave us with this statement.